Gratitude is a spontaneous feeling, but increasingly, research demonstrates its value as a spiritual practice, that is, making conscious efforts to count one's blessings. Living in our current culture, which places a premium on immediate gratification and ease of accessibility, gratitude practice is perfect for our time. Anyone can engage in it, and the effects are immediate. Among the many spiritual practices available to us, gratitude is the most easily accessible and one of the most powerful. And feelings of gratitude are not foreign to us. I'm confident that all of us have at some point in our lives experienced a profound feeling of gratitude, arising spontaneously in response to something good in our lives. You don't need special equipment or a special place or a particular sound environment to engage in the practice of gratitude. You can express gratitude out loud to yourself or to someone else. You can write what you're grateful for on a piece of paper, in the dirt, or on your bathroom mirror. You can even enjoy the benefits of gratitude practice by simply silently and intentionally naming what you're grateful for. Natural feelings of gratitude turned into a spiritual practice give rise to powerful inner and outer impacts. The benefits of regularly incorporating gratitude into your life as a spiritual practice have been extolled by philosophers, sages, and religious leaders for millennia. Now, psychologists have turned their attention to the effect that an attitude of gratitude has on the human body and the human psyche. Psychologists who have studied the effect of gratitude on people's well-being have found that over time, feeling grateful tends to make people happier, and it supports physical and psychological health, even among those who are already struggling with mental health problems. Studies show that people who regularly engage in expressing their gratitude use fewer negative emotional words. Over time, they shift their inner attention away from such negative emotions as resentment and jealousy, and they spend less time ruminating over the painful experiences in their lives. In turn, this tends to decrease feelings of depression and gives us a better sense of value in our life. One study even found that a gratitude intervention successfully reduced negative emotions and increased mental resilience in a group of older adults. Now, I realize that to some extent I am here preaching to the choir about both the value of regularly counting our blessings and the means to do so. Still, it never hurts to revisit what we already know. There might be some new information that we are previously unaware of. We might have picked the same gratitude practice and have been doing it for years. And perhaps after today, you'll consider incorporating other ways of expressing your gratitude. So I'm only focusing on 3 ways today. There are many, many, many ways of expressing gratitude. I'd almost say there are as many ways of expressing gratitude as there are people. But the 3 we're going to focus on today are keeping a gratitude journal, a mindfulness gratitude practice, and what I associate with our 7th principle and sort of call, in my own vernacular, the 7th principle gratitude practice. So the first one, I think, is the one most of us are familiar with reading about and hearing about, and, you know, many of us engage in it, and that's keeping a gratitude journal. This is one of the ancient spiritual practices. It's been discussed in literature throughout the millennia. It helps us find more meaning and joy in our lives. And it doesn't have to be formal, as I said before. You know, some people, they place a journal or a piece of paper on their nightstand and they wake up in the morning and record things that they are grateful for. Or perhaps it's the evening before they go to bed that they think about their day and write several things that happened to them during the day that they're grateful for. Now, of course, we have the ability to jot down what we're grateful for on our cell phones or our computers. So the medium doesn't have to be permanent, though. I've even gotten great satisfaction out of writing what I'm grateful for in the sand, because while periodic review of what we've expressed gratitude for does help us get to know ourselves better, maintaining an archive isn't the point, and it isn't necessary to benefit from this practice. It's the act of opening your heart and expanding your awareness to the abundance of good in the world that's the primary source of this benefit. Keeping a gratitude journal falls within the genre of contemplative practices. So if you're having difficulty identifying something that you're grateful for, the 17th century Dutch philosopher Rabbi Baruch Spinoza suggested that we ask ourselves the following 3 questions. Who or what inspired me today? What brought me happiness today? And what brought me comfort and deep peace today? And when you can answer any or all of these questions, you will have identified something to be grateful for. Now, the second gratitude practice is what we might consider a form of mindfulness meditation. It's my preferred way of incorporating gratitude in my regular spiritual practice, which generally consists of a daily walk and a daily examination of my experience as a human being, including, for instance, being a parent, a child, a friend, and even a minister. My version of mindfulness practice for gratitude is grounded in the sensations of the here and now. And I'd like to share with you how I might experience it. I invite you to use your imagination to join me on a little walk, which, as I begin it, I pay attention to the sensations of my body. I explore whether there are any aches or pains. Depending on what I discover, I pace myself and periodically stretch what needs stretching or briefly massage what needs massaging. I allow myself to feel grateful for a body that speaks to me of its needs so that I may attend to them. I realize that I am grateful for the ability to walk. There have been a few times in my life where I was not able to walk at all, and other times when walking was very painful. So I allow myself to become aware of the rhythmic thump that each step makes on the ground. I feel that thump resonate throughout my body. And I listen to that thump without judgment or comment. Now that's important, particularly for me, because I'm a person who has chatter constantly in my brain. I'm always talking to myself. I'm always internally, that is. I'm always working on a problem. I constantly make comments on my environment. My daughter, Lucy, is different. She tells me she's constantly got music going on in the back of her brain, that there's always a song that she's remembering or composing or wishes she could get out of her brain. But for her, the background is music or song. And for me, it's just a running commentary. It's not an angry or mean commentary. It's just a running recognition of what's going on around me and apparently a need to make some sort of judgment or comment about it. So when I'm in this mindfulness practice, it's very important to me that I hush that voice intentionally and I just quiet my mind, which takes effort and training over time. But in doing that, I give myself the luxury of just feeling the sensation and allowing myself to be grateful for it. Eventually, I bring my awareness to how I'm breathing. Without the usual running commentary, I just breathe. I feel the air enter my nostrils and the tension of my lungs as they fill. And I feel the air flow out again and the full body relaxation that follows. I become immersed in the ebb and the flow of breathing, and I'm grateful for breath. I'm grateful for breathing, and I'm grateful for another day. With all this deep breathing going on, I inevitably become aware of the scents around me, the scent of honeysuckle and salt water and my neighbor's grill. Again, without words, I take in and enjoy all the scents around me, and I allow myself to feel grateful. Now, I'm still walking, mind you. These are all just sort of added on to that basic rhythm of walking. And so I bring my awareness to the sounds of nature and open my ears simply to hear. I hear the buzz of bees, the whoosh of insects flying around my head, the clicking of tree frogs, and the periodic call and response of birds. This mindfulness practice centers me as I continue on my walk and eventually catalog and review my day. My heart is always lightened by this gratitude practice, even when I'm in some form of pain, whether that's physical, emotional, or spiritual, because the pain is balanced by the realization that even in these painful moments of life, there's always something to be grateful for. Now, the third gratitude practice, which I have associated in my mind with our seventh principle, which states that we affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. This gratitude practice involves focusing on something that we often take for granted and imagining all the people, places, and things that went into bringing it to me. Let's take apples as an example. They are by far my favorite fruit. My love affair with apples stems from my paternal grandfather's passion for them and my growing up amidst his apple orchard. In those days, if I wanted an apple, I just walked out the back door of my grandparents' home and picked one off the tree. To this day, there is always a basket of apples in my kitchen. When I meant to bring one to the service and I forgot. There is a basket of apples in my kitchen. And I can refresh my basket at any moment by going to the grocery store and buying more. But do I ever stop to think about those whose efforts make this easy apple acquisition happen for me? Not really. But if I did, it would go something like this. While holding an apple in my hand or seeing one in my mind's eye, I would think to myself, I'm grateful for this apple, full of nutrients that strengthen my mind and body, and embodied with tastes and textures that please my tongue. I'm grateful for the store owner who stocked this apple, for the truck driver who transported this apple, for the farmer who planted and tended the apple trees, for the pollinators who propagated them, and for the divine energy which led to the creation of apples and apple trees. Now, having spent a moment to consider my gratitude for apples, I might be motivated to make a donation to a Save the Bees fund, or to ensure that apples are available in low-income neighborhoods, or to bake an apple pie to give to a neighbor in gratitude. Now, as I've noted, there are many ways to express gratitude, and we've explored 3 today, which when repeated become a regular spiritual practice. Now, I'm inviting you to engage in one of these 3 spiritual practices right here and right now. You may write down 3 to 5 things for which you are grateful, or you may bring your attention to your surroundings and any pleasurable sensations for which you are grateful. Or You may make the connections for something or someone of importance to you. I'll give us 3 minutes of silence. During that time, you may engage in a gratitude practice. And regardless of your chosen method for expressing your gratitude, I invite you to share your experience in the chat box for us to read silently. The 3 minutes starts now.